So, dear friends, there couldn't be a better way to start and understand how meditation is helping heal our bodies. We all are, in many ways, leaders or aspiring to be leaders. And more so when we are leaders, or even otherwise, as employees, as team members, or homemakers. Can we afford to fall sick, say for 2 weeks? Can you imagine that you're out of action for 2 weeks when you're leading a team or leading the home? You're running a business and 2 weeks you're out. Can we afford it? And if there is this chronic illness, then it keeps on getting us out of action and inaction, out of action on a regular basis. That also happens, right? Every month, every 6 weeks, you have to send that email and say, I'm not feeling well, I'm taking off. Did you enjoy that moment? It's not fun. Nobody likes to keep asking for leave. And there are many times where we have to drag ourselves to work painfully. We're not well, but then we know we have to go, particularly for businessmen, entrepreneurs, where they have no option. So do we like that? And all the health challenges that are there, inherently there, significantly in many ways, is mind over matter. And even otherwise now, epigenetics, that beautiful research that's going on, is telling us that when we elevate a body into heightened emotion and feeling, we can actually upregulate many genes and produce new protein in a way that it can go back and reconstruct, repair the body, reconstruct parts of the body. That experience that Das was trying to show today by Dr. Joe Dispenza, excuse me, by Dr. Joe Dispenza, that where just with a mind rehearsal of a heightened emotion of he feeling better, getting better significantly with meditation, he was able to heal himself of multiple fractures. He was able to heal himself one by one, and then started walking after 9 weeks of intense meditations, where otherwise he was advised that he's got to be just lying down on that bed for the rest of his lifetime. So many of us were able to heal our bodies insignificantly. Meditation, this simple meditation, is helping us recover our perfect health. I use the word recover the health, not gain the health. It is there. Health was there for us. It is just that we've been interfering into our body system. So primarily, many doctors are saying that it is because of the stress. A lot of that health challenges are because of stress. Now let's take that part alone. And if more than 90 or 95% are due to these lifestyle disorders are the stress. What is stress? Our moods and our temperaments due to our past memories, due to the events that are in the life that are happening, which are either frustrating, which are worrisome, which are causing anxiety, which are feeling as grief because of loss of either a person or a business or entity, whatever that we really love most. And when an event happens, and then we continue to feel it, relive it again and again and again, then we're living off of our past memories, which we do not like, and then we are living off in these various modes. This alone is the cause of this alone, whether it is the anger, whether it's frustration, whether it's any of those emotions where you feel lack of control, you feel lack of health, you feel lack of support, you feel inadequate, any of those causing us to relive experience that happened with our interaction that happened in our life with people. And all of that when relive, that is causing stress in the body, stresses. Now what happens with the stresses? This is causing a lot of release of chemicals into the bloodstreams. Adrenal, there is one chemical called cortisol, which is one of the many, but then tremendously acting, keeping us with a heightened awareness that it won't let us sleep and with these stressors, there are a lot of chemicals that are dumped into the body. We can't sleep. We can't digest stuff that we eat. We can't do many things. Our decision making becomes poor. Our immunity impairment is happening because not even letting our heart function well. That heart brain, that the neural networks in the heart, about those 40,000 neural networks, they all get disengaged with the brain. When a heart is not beating well, and then as you have, and then you're living an emotion again and again, and then every time you relive an emotion of, let's say you had a serious argument with your boss over something, or you had a deep argument or a fight or an altercation with the people at home, could be spouse, could be anybody, the parents, because they're always trying to change you and then you're always trying to change them. That's the only thing that happens, right? Between a wife and husband, all the time, okay, I want to change you and you want to change me. So when these things happen and then we relive that argument, when that happens and then our body goes into this heightened emotion, and then suddenly our amygdala, this is there in this second brain, the amygdala is an emotion center, feeling center, is saying, okay, so my master is trying to feel, want to get angry, so I need to exhibit certain behavior in our body, so in my body, and then it sends out certain neuropeptides to go and then produce some chemical into the body. That's how this cortisol, along with the cortisol, this science says that up to 1,200 different types of chemicals get dumped into our body. The body goes into something called emergency mode, as called this fight or flight mode. Many of you might have read this article. It's becoming quite popular these days. Body goes into fight or flight mode. We also call the emergency mode. When there is a fire in our office, what do you call it, right? It's an emergency mode. Then immediately we stop everything what we do, and then we all are going somewhere, right, to protect ourselves. So the body also, very quite intelligently, has something called emergency mode, a fight or flight mode. Fly away or fight. Two options we have when there is a challenge, when you're faced with imminent danger. So the body has it, and then it is designed and made. So that's why this is such an intelligence, so much super intelligence in this body. It is designed to protect itself when there is a physical danger, imminent physical danger. The physical danger, if there is a dog is chasing at you when you're going for a walk, or some wild animal and you're walking you're trekking in a forest and there's a wild animal and then it's chasing, and you see the very sight of it, immediately we start feeling that fear, right? There's a heightened fear if we are fearful about it. Of course it can be. If the dog is chasing on us, I don't know, see a wild animal, we'll become fearful, thinking that it can do anything, and then become the fearful. So automatically this body is moving itself into a protective mode, emergency mode, just like the fire alarm. And then we go into that emergency mode. What do? We drop everything. We gain all the strength. We become pretty focused, right? And then we got to just come out. Isn't what we do that's what we've been told, the fire alarm procedure, immediately stop what you're doing, right? Find the nearest exit, run, and then take the position in some safe place, whatever that has been given as instruction. So exact same thing without you and I knowing, when our body is going to emergency mode or this fight or flight mode, whenever it sees a physical danger, like a dog chasing or a wild animal that we see. And as a result, dear friends, but this fight or flight mode requires it to actually, obviously for everything requires some special. So it requires all these chemicals to be dumped into the body. Fly away or fight when that situation comes, right? Run away or fight. If you can't run away because you're trapped in an area, then what do? We gain all the strength. So in order to gain the strength, in order to run away, we have to have enough power in our legs or hands. And so body is dumping these various chemicals, using which it pumps a lot more blood into the legs and hands. It's called that fight or flight mode. It goes into this emergency mode, and there is pumping more blood into legs and hands so that they get the power to run, they get the power to fight. It is getting our eyesight become narrow focus so that you don't get distracted this way, that way. Narrow focus so that you can be clear. You can run, then you can be clear in front. All the attention is given. I also read that it releases some chemicals so the body becomes distasteful. It senses the danger and then produces some chemical distasteful in case something is going to bite you. It should leave you unharmed. So it becomes distasteful. Now, in order to do all of this extra work, just the way we drop our work when there is a fire alarm and we run, in order to do this extra work, you couldn't be thinking about, you couldn't be still making a phone call while, going out, right? And you would be dropping the phone call and then run, because you got to put all attention onto escaping and exiting. And so, the same way, in order to do that, the body is doing what? I mean, it is recognizing and then making a decision at that point and saying, okay, I have the sexual gland system. I don't need them right now. I care least about how it functions. My digestive system, this is the least of the bothering at this time when I'm trying to protect myself. It stops, it shuts down, does not let it continue, because it's got to pull all the energy into the bloodstream. It has to pump more blood into the legs and hands. So it's just taking that, okay, it's taking each and every system that's not required to shut down, just the way we do it. Cognitive functioning. Right here, the pineal gland, pituitary gland area that is in the brain working beautifully, it says, okay, not required. Okay, let's shut it down. Pituitary not, but parts of it get shut down, where the cognitive function, which is in our neocortex, the frontal cortex, this brain cortex, neocortex of conscious mind, it shuts down, because conscious mind is all of the analytical functions like decision making, learning, reasoning, logic, everything shuts down, because it's not required at that point. All it required was physical strength to run and fight, nothing more. So this is good. In a physical emergency, it is good, because what happens, the moment the danger is out, the moment that we escape out of this, that imminent physical danger, then immediately we cool off. And then all the chemicals slowly get withdrawn. This dump of chemicals is happening, it gets withdrawn. The effect of it stays in the body for a few hours, but at least the chemicals no longer get dumped and is getting withdrawn. And so we slowly come back to the normalcy of the body. It's good. Body was intelligent to protect in a physical danger. But the problem is, dear friends, with all those moods and temperaments, when you have a loss in the family and then we grieve over it and over it and over it, and all that moods that we carry on for weeks and weeks, or we relive, the stats says that we relive an experience that is positive or negative 50% more when we relive. When we talk about it, we relive 50% more. That means if you fought with your manager, if you had only used 2 dialogues, the next time when you tell your friend about it, you're using a 3rd dialogue, you're adding a 3rd dialogue, because you feel good that, you feel that, okay, you magnified it more and made you point your friend, made you point your spouse about that fight. We relive more. That means we are experiencing more of it in a negative way. And when we do this, friends, when you have these emotions, then those such emotions are also causing, they're called the stressors, they're also causing a body to go into this fight or flight mode. That means it is actually going and then dumping all those 1200 chemicals, a ton of this cortisol. And as a result, we are doing what? When we are continuing, and then because you're reliving, what's happening? 95% of the time, we are in the redundant thoughts and then 80% negative. That's a stat. If 80% are negative and anxious, worrisome, fearful, and if they're all are continuously keeping a body in and fight or flight mode, that means in a stressful mode all the time, which means you understand now it is actually dumping those chemicals, and chemicals we care least, we don't know, but it is actually impairing the functioning of various systems, digestive system. First thing that happens for people who are stressful, heartburns, indigestion, right? Constipations, because the digestive system doesn't work well. Very common, isn't it? Everybody, then there is a very young, but then suddenly we say, I'm getting heartburns. It's because they're stressful. Our decision making becomes so poor because cognitive brain is shut off. Again, what is shut off means less blood there and more blood into legs and hands. Less blood here, so less functioning, right, of it. And so the cognitive the decision making becomes poor. And as a result, we make sillier mistakes. Whenever we are in a crisis, whenever a stressful situation, people make 2 out of 5 mistakes are made when they're crisis. So people make silly things, silly mistakes are made naturally, right? Because we're not, cognitive is not working well. Decision making is very, very poor. Judgment is very, very poor. So stress is, and when we are reliving these past memories again and again, not recognizing it, dear friends, and then moving the body into an emergency mode, and as a result, constantly keeping it in a flight mode, and as a result, constantly interfering into the body's functioning, most of the systems are shut down. There is no sex drive. There is no appetite for even having a normal, greater relationship because it's just the system is not working. Indigestion. So all of this, dear friends. So what is the way out? We got to bring the body back to normal mode. And the way to do it is absolutely to remove all these negative, stressful, anxious thoughts and memories. So meditation, when we regularly meditate, just that emptying our mind, that emptying our mind. There is also a sympathetic nervous system, parasympathetic nervous system. So meditation, as we empty our mind, as we are bringing down the memories of the past, which are of unsupportive in nature, right? They're unsupportive in nature. As we're bringing those off, as we're removing and reducing them, because we're not giving attention. See, where your attention goes, energy flows. So when you give an attention onto your thought, then it keeps flaring up. You give an attention about your fight yesterday with the manager, then it keeps flaring up and bring up a fight 10 days ago, 1 month ago. You'll recollect a memory that your friend fought with another manager another time. Then slowly recollect a fight that happened in your community among people. You know, the body is so intelligent, plugs in everything related to each other. And then keeps flaring up those thoughts. And then as a result, it keeps flaring up their emotions and it keeps putting more and more. So we need to lower each of this volume down. And our meditation, this beautiful meditation, since we are not giving attention off the thought, and then we are absolutely attending to your breath, staying away from the thought. So slowly, the thoughts come down. These memories come down. And something more beautiful happening when you're becoming totally empty and experiencing this emptiness and energy field, then we start receiving information frequency, which is essentially allowing us to start understanding that these things are unsupportive for my growth. And slowly those memories also dissipate, and then slowly the memories go away. So we deactivate the fight and flight mode, and then as a result, no longer this cortisol unnecessarily lying in the bloodstream, and then no longer it is we are in a heightened awareness. Now the stress keeps its body into the high beta state, that circle of waves that is talked about, high beta. Cortisol keeps us very, very awake and alert. So there's no sleep. Insomnia. One of the first reasons if the meditators sleep becomes better is because of insomnia. And then as the chemical is withdrawn, insomnia goes down. Aging. You know, stress is causing, because skin cells do not regenerate. Right? The body systems are shut down. Then what do you get? The skill, the body, if the systems are shut down, everything slowly one after the other, other than pumping good blood into the legs and hands, then what happens with skin cells? Naturally, skin is the largest organ, and so it's got to slowly degenerate. It doesn't have enough thing to regenerate new cells. Cells are always dying, but then it doesn't have enough capacity to generate new cells. So our body becomes aged and then wrinkled. You know, some people at 40, 45, aged and wrinkled, right? You know, very early on we see it. It's because stress. But meditation is a perfect anti-aging. Not only it is removing the stress, but it's also producing that fountain of youth chemical, something that is there in the thymus gland behind the heart. You know, that heart elevation, this gratitude, dear friends, if you can use that very, very help successfully into your daily routine, be grateful. There you bring up your heart on heightened emotion. And as a result, our heart is becoming very coherent. And as a result, we function, our thymus functioning, which is that gland which is responsible for that chemical fountain of youth, it's called DHA, the chemical, also responsible for a lot of immunity, the T cell production. It beautifully works. That heart elevation, gratitude. And meditation is helping us reduce all those one side, all those negative memories, and some of this gratitude process, and naturally making us becoming more and more one with everybody. So we drop our differences and express gratitude. Truly we feel to a teacher, right? And then to people, everybody. And then automatically we are becoming younger at heart, younger in body, anti-aging. That's why many meditators are glow with this beautiful skin. And those who do not have stress are absolutely glowing. I guess that must be for Karthikeyan. At 83, we don't even understand that Karthikeyan is like that. Because there are lots of good practices, dear friends. So the last thing I say is that while this is withdrawing our interference to the body by removing the stresses, but body is also healing with this epigenetics, when with a heightened emotion, that creation, that we understand the manifestation process that we're going to do next week, where we visualize and dream about what that we want to have. See, the stress is about removing interference, but once that is done, where you stay neutral, then we start becoming extremely positive and miraculous in our thinking. And you start dreaming about a perfect health, radiant health, walking as if your legs are just normal, running, jumping, and then you feel and visualize all that heightened emotion. If you think greater than your body, you feel greater than your body is used to a certain level of emotion. You can feel greater than your body, think greater than your mind in a heightened way, an expansive way, then your body upregulates several genes to produce new protein. We got to study these books on this, how the body is working. Biology of Belief by Bruce Lipton is saying that 94% of our genes are reprogrammable and maybe more. And there are so many case studies of where people have been healing themselves. And so, dear friends, meditation is removing all the stressors, and as a result, gaining and allowing us to gain natural immunity and natural health, number one. That's why many people have healed themselves. I myself have healed my backache significantly. And I did not have to take medication of any kind for the last 20 years, thanks to my meditation, thanks to my great food, vegetarian food. Something that we'll learn more around how meditation fills a body with full of energy next on Wednesday, dear friends. Just with this understanding that if we carry any negative emotion, we are doing greatest disservice to ourselves in cutting off various functioning of the body. So just by becoming aware and then taking other emotion out is going to help our body gain a lot of health. And meditation is that process which is helping us be aware so that we can check on our thought and then withdraw from the thought or withdraw from that feeling. We need awareness. We all know about it, many of us, but we don't have that awareness. People who know about it, now that we know, we can become more alert. But then awareness comes when we are able to take away all that unwanted thought, otherwise keeping us busy, and the meditation is doing that. So thank you very much for staying through on this session. The more we understand, the more we integrate, and the more we can practice. The new brain is working beautifully in this thing called learn, do, be. We'll understand that, so that every time we understand it and then every time we recollect it, it becomes a sticky point, because that's how the brain is working. And as a result, then it becomes a memory, and then it can keep producing for ourselves. So even this session, what we learned, to go back and listen to once again, understand how stress to fight and flight mode to the interference of the body, and then how meditation is helping it withdraw and then making it perfectly healthy. With that, we come to an end of today's session, dear friends.